personally.
Eh, I just do my stuff late when I have the juice and the energy. But I still like I gotta record a trailer for the other podcast I'm making, the
Oh,
Big Letter podcast. So that one's gonna be for like,
yeah, I was gonna ask you about that.
yep, that one's gonna be more about BDSM, kinky stuff.
Oh,
Give a breakdown of the variations of dom, daddies, masters, riggers, etc. Got a friend out in New York that wanted to jump on as a co-host. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not?
yay!
So yeah, gonna work on the trailer today with her so we can get at least that going. Try to get like a semi-regular schedule with that one also because that one is literally gonna be like, 30 minutes. That's the aim. We're just gonna talk about the D is for dominant. That's all we're talking about today, and we move on to the next and so on and so forth.
Okay, well, congratulations on your new venture.
Why, thank you.
It seems like it's going to be a good thing.
I would hope so. I mean, it's adding on work that the thing I feel like when it comes to like being impulsive is like, man, I got this coding boot camp, I got this one podcast, I got this other podcast, I got my relationship, I got family. And it's like I'm happy I'm doing it because it's something that I want to do, and also it's like one of those things where it's like if you don't do it, someone's gonna do it, and I feel like I could do it better.
That's right. You better talk your shit.
What you been up to?
I have been mostly, I've gone underground for the last few months because I've had to take care of things financially within my household. My partner was in between jobs. So all of my money went to all of our bills. And that was stressful. So I just took some time to myself to just focus on getting my shit together, getting our shit together. I went back home and spent a week in Dallas with my family, and that just restored everything. So now I'm ready to hit the ground running with content.
All right, that's what's up. Now it's kind of funny because I'm also a person that's in between jobs, but thankfully I got this unemployment set in.
Yes.
I mean, it's not a lot, but hey, it helps with the bills. And so what happened is July 29th, I got let go from eBay. Mixture of
Mm.
like essentially ADHD kind of kicked my butt because they switched me to a new position that was extra boring because they were given busy work like, hey, here's a spreadsheet, fill it all out with other people's stuff. And
Oh,
I was good for like a month and a half, but after a month and a half, I had like I was just sick of it. Like I would look at the screen being like, is this really what I'm gonna be doing all this time? And the screen recessions are recorded. It's like showing. It's like, hey, you didn't move your mouse for like 30 minutes. I'm like, yeah, that's just ADHD. Y'all have records of it. Y'all know I have it. Like y'all gave me this like random busy work where I'm literally doing nothing but click click type type type. And I get it. Some people will say something like, "Oh, but hey, they're still paying you well to do easy stuff." I'm like, oh, my brain doesn't work
but
like that.
yeah, if it doesn't work like that and it's not right for you, it doesn't matter how much money you're making. It just don't fit.
Yep. So of course, I got let go from there. Thankfully, I got my unemployment because you know with unemployment, if you were terminated under like negative pretenses, you don't get unemployment. eBay replied back, "Oh, work avoidance." And so they called me. He's like, "Hey, do you like? Would you like to say something to that?" And I wanted to charge eBay's ass up because I'm like, I told you, y'all have records of my ADHD. I've been told y'all had accommodations. And so luckily the officer that was in charge of my case was like, yeah, you're approved. I'm like, thank you.
That doesn't
And
make
me being let go was a blessing because talked to a friend and she gave me like these resources like, yeah, go look see if there's any programs that like pay for you to learn something. And I did. It's like this thing, Workforce Solutions in Austin, where it's like, oh yeah, if you want to take a coding boot camp, cool, we'll pay for it. Like, you know.
that's amazing.
And I'm like, I was gonna take a loan out because I was interested in it already, and it was like $13,000. I'm like, look, I'll go ahead and just take the loan if I can make the money they say I'm making. But the fact I didn't have to pay a penny, I'm like, yo, get because if I didn't get let go, I would be getting ready. I would just been like off of work yesterday. Like I would still be doing the same boring stuff, and it's like one door was closed, so it can kick my ass into the door I should be going to.
Exactly. It seemed like it was the right timing.
Cause yeah, it was like all I have is customer service and banking experience. That is it. Not too many options to go to with that. But at least with coding, I could do stuff for myself. I could like charge
Absolutely.
friends for things. I can go be a web developer for a company. But yeah,
Hmm.
this is yes, I'm in between jobs, but it's like it's where I need it to be.
Good. I'm happy for you.
Why? Thank you.
Oh, so I'm gonna give you kind of an exclusive. Um,
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I'm here for it. I realize also I say well yeah a lot. You know, it's it's something that's like I'm picking up trying to like kill these audio cues that are very repetitive. Cause again,
yeah.
I didn't go to journalism school. Like that's something that school teaches you to not do.
Oh yeah.
I get all the amateurism because I say well yeah and and I'm trying to like check myself a little bit more. But well yeah, it's my go-to.
I understand that. And as for learning that in school, I went to school for communications, so I did take a couple of journalism classes, and they do extensive work to make sure that you are absolutely ready to be on camera, to speak, to do whatever you need to do. But it's so much work. It's so much practice.
I definitely believe it. I will say though, I listened to my episode one recently, and I listened to like my last episode with TBL. I'm like, I've come quite a way in 12 episodes, so I will take the growth.
Good. Always take the growth.
Let's see, and yeah, I wanted to ask you out here today because I'm like, it's fun to talk about these things with other people. Like when you're talking by yourself, it's cool because you control the production and whatnot, but also you get lazy because like, I can do it whenever by myself. But when you
Right.
schedule with somebody, it's like, all right, I gotta be on my p's and q's, make sure I have everything orchestrated and set up, and here we are.
Exactly.
Everything's orchestrated and set up on a lovely football Sunday.
Who's playing today?
Everybody.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, what? Not the Cowboys and Giants on Monday. Thursday had the Steelers and Browns, and today is everybody else.
Okay, that's doable. I mean, I'm not gonna watch it anyway, but I'd still like to know what's going on.
Oh, but yeah, it's that's what you're hearing because I got honestly, I'm recognizing that if it wasn't for fantasy football, I would not care for any of this.
Really?
Like I'm here for my Cowboys, I'm here to root for them, but every other football game, I'm like, it's a waste of my time. Like I don't care. Like meh. But with fantasy football, I got like nine different people from nine different teams. So I'm like, all right, let me care about these nine other teams and let them get me points so I can try to win it all.
I mean, fantasy football can be a bit addictive, so I get it.
It's a numbers game. I enjoy things that make me think, and it's also like a gambling thing because you never know who's going to get that touchdown or how many yards they may get. It's stressful, but it's with friends, so it's like a stressful friend activity, a bonding thing, if you want to say call it that.
A nicer version of trauma bonding.
Something that's more consenting.
Exactly.
But see, there we go. But yeah, it was about to be said. See, I might just go ahead and start just like clicking, like cutting out all the yes, because
That's gonna be your best bet.
man, that's still take so much work though. Like There's gonna be like 50 but yeahs I gotta find.
I understand, but as somebody who edits YouTube videos, it's I feel your pain. It's
I
so much.
I just learned how to do a lot more things on my iMovies, by the way, with the last editing job I was doing, where it's like, oh, I could do this. Oh, I could cut that. Like, I could. Okay, okay, okay. So
Mhm.
that's pretty dope. I'm picking up things more. Like, I also want to get to a point where I am recording like certain BDSM tutorials, like
Ooh.
impact or like different sensation plays. Like, you'll have a clean version where a person's like cloth or whatever, and then you'll have the dirty versions where it's like, yeah, this person's butt ass naked getting
Uh,
spanked.
I like to hear this.
Yes, it's some people do photography, some people draw art. Me, I just want to give demos of floggings and spankings.
I mean, I think the world needs more of that personally.
Yeah, who knows? If some of these people were spanked when they were young, they might not be the piece of shits they are today.
That's debatable, but
I'm
I see your point.
just talking about, the Trumps of the world, not like regular folk.
Oh yeah. I mean,
You,
if their parents cared to actually raise them
you don't ask Stormy
at
Daniels
all.
to you don't ask Stormy Daniels to spank you because for no reason.
No, there's clearly some stuff that you have not unpacked, you have not looked at, but you do want worked out on you.
I guess let me go ahead and start by saying welcome, travelers, to another episode of Hitchhiker's Guide to Ethical Non-Monogamy, ENM for short. I am your host, Ike, aka Hito in certain parts of the world, and I am joined by the lovely Love Goddess today. Say hey to the peoples.
Hello. Hello, good people. Nice to see you again.
Yes, I had her on prior. We were talking about dating and how that pool is just very, very
Gross.
gross is a word. I was gonna say cringy.
That's also a word that is accurate for the current dating pool.
But yes, I had her on. It was a lovely time, and I figured, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just bring her back because it's dope to talk about other people. Not talk about other people, though we do that for no reason. But it's nice to
It's
talk
fun. Why we do it.
because other people's dramas, I guess.
It's something about it that's just cleanses the palate. I don't know.
I blame reality TV.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely brought it to the forefront. I'm a fan of reality TV because I like seeing other people do shit I would never do. I
I
would never.
What was that? College Hill, Real World, like that's where it all started.
Oh, yeah, College Hill or what was it? It's not The Sweet Life, but there was a celebrity show where the
The one with
house was
Paris,
famous.
the Fabulous
Yeah,
Life, the
the
something something.
Fabulous Life. That early bullshit that we watched.
Paris Hilton and her friend Nicole.
Yeah, Nicole Richie.
There you go. What's the well? Anyways, back to the topic on hand. But yeah, I have her on again, and today we are going to talk about boundaries.
That's right. Because it is incredibly important and hard to figure out and hold steady to.
It's a weird dance that I didn't realize I needed to get with. Because
We all do.
it's like even me thinking that so I personally believe that I'm good at setting boundaries, establishing boundaries, and respecting the boundaries of others.
Mm-hmm.
But then you realize, oh no, you're still lacking in various areas in regards to that. Like whether it's feeling guilt, whether it's like action, like thinking that a boundary, thinking someone's boundary is what it is, when in reality they want more, but they don't like voice it to you or things like that.
Exactly.
Um, it's just so many various things towards boundaries that I personally wasn't aware of.
Like what?
So one, like when I set a boundary, it's not, I tailored the boundary. Like it wasn't even truly my own boundary. It was like a kind of semi boundary. It's like a half and half boundary. Like I want to make sure I'm comfortable and they're comfortable. So we'll go ahead and make a middle ground boundary without talking with them about that. Like it's like I'm trying to like
Oh,
establish
okay.
what a boundary on their side would also be like
Yeah,
with
you
my
can't do
boundary.
that.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, I realized that, and it's like I said, like it was things that I thought like, yeah, that's how you go about it, that's how you do it. Because I consider myself a emotionally mature gentleman, which is like not the most abundant thing in the world, and I'm still lacking. And shout out to that book, Set Boundaries, Find Peace, that kind of was like hitting me in the kidney with kidney shots and like do better. It's like ah, woman, you have to say it so loud.
Between that book and my therapist, boundaries are different to me now.
What experience you have in regards to boundaries?
So I can admit that I did not have any for a long time. I would let a lot of things slide that I shouldn't have because I thought if I put a boundary up, I'm going to lose this person. If I put a boundary up, then I'm going to lose out on this experience. And I don't want to do that. And I don't want to make someone feel bad. So I'll just eat whatever negative emotions come up, any sense of self betrayal I had. And I can admit that I did feel, some betrayal on my end. I had to realize it was my own fault. It's because I didn't say anything. Because I thought that, let me put this on silent. I'm sorry.
No
I thought
worries. That was my initial setup. Like, all right, I got my computer muted. We're good here.
I thought I put it on silent, but I did not. Oh well. Anyway, I didn't realize that holding boundaries and having boundaries didn't make me a bad person. I felt like it did make me a bad person, that I wasn't doing everything I could possibly do to make someone happy. Boundaries aren't about making other people happy, they're about keeping yourself safe. And once I got that, my life changed. Now I will say, no, I'm not doing that. And no, I'm not giving an explanation. That's it. That's a boundary for me. And that's huge because I did not used to do that.
Because I think about the word boundary itself. It's like you put a fence around your property. It's not to keep the property happy, it's to protect it from outside forces. So it kind of does make sense that boundaries are there to keep you safe. Personally, because again, I would say I was like you. I didn't really have boundaries. Like I'm a people person, not a people person, but a people pleaser.
People pleaser.
That was like my thing where it's like, I do what I can to have people happy. Like one of my most ignorant ideas is that I could date anybody because I can mold and be malleable to date anybody.
Ooh, a word.
And that was being young and dumb and not realizing like, yo, I'm also a person with my own identity that is brought into the relationship. Like it's not about me transforming my being just to have someone else happy. And I'm glad I learned that lesson before I met a person that might have been able to take advantage of that thinking of mine.
Mm, cannot say the same. Definitely. Definitely got taken advantage of by friends, family members, bosses, spouse. Well, not my spouse, but partners, former partners in the past. Just anyone you can think of who would possibly try to take advantage. They've tried.
But yeah, that's why I think one of the things that I think about in regards to non-monogamy and people, whether they are currently in it or thinking about getting in it or not in it, they could be monogamous or they could just be someone down the street. I feel like, because no, I've literally been sharing this book with everybody because I'm like, boundaries are very important in regards to all aspects of life, be it your work life balance, be it with your family members, be it with friends, be it with just a random person at the club. It's like everything. Because if you are able to set healthy boundaries and enforce those boundaries, all your relationships improve because you
Yeah,
weed out those that shouldn't be in your life.
that
And the
part.
people that do love you understand how to love you because they want to love you. Like if they're over here throwing darts and hoping to hit the mark, that's like it's not good on. They don't feel good because like I don't know how to please this person. I don't know how to make them happy. I don't know how to make them feel safe because that person don't know how to do those things or to share what those things are.
You spitting facts right now. I agree. Because you can't expect someone to treat you better than the way you treat yourself. Not really. If you don't hold boundaries, how is anyone supposed to know what you are willing to accept and what you're not? What bothers you and what doesn't? Because yes, it's wrong to take advantage of people and to overstep their boundaries, but you are also culpable. It's still on you to make sure that you communicated that you are being honest with yourself about what you need and what you want and how you're going to get it.
I mean, look, it's a fun topic. I would say, bringing my own little personal life into it with my anchor partner, there was something that I realized because everyone has their traumas, be it with family or upbringing, things you had to deal with and then you carry into when you're older.
Yeah.
And my partner's like that too. Have her own things that go on with that happen when younger with family and friends and etc.
Yeah.
And she said like the weirdest thing to me the other day because like it was just a random stepped on an unexpected landmine where it's like what's going on here? And it's like one of those things where she asked me what I'm supposed to tell you every time I'm sad. And in my head, it was
Ooh,
like,
duh.
yes. That
To
like
you, it's duh.
and that's one thing I had to like kind of like step back and like, huh. Wait, you don't think that you're supposed to? It's like one of those things where one thing that is discussed is like me bringing up like, yo, we're teammates in this. So,
Mm,
this isn't a quid pro quo situation we got going on. Like we wouldn't live together if it was a quid pro quo thing because, that means you're just a stranger. I'm just getting things from you. Like that's not what I'm in this for. So like
right.
when she was like, I'm supposed to, I'm like, yes, like that's actually the healthy thing to do. And then a couple weeks later it came up where it's like, wait, shot like cause like if I'm doing like dishes or whatever, one of the things is like dishes will be left all about. Like, you'll have a cup in the bathroom, a cup in the living room, or maybe something like a bag that was carried to work. And it's like, I just like asked her, like, yo, can you just put it by the sink whenever you can? And the initial response anytime I bring something up seems like to put up defensive walls. Like, I gotta defend myself. He's coming after me, is what it sounds
Mhm.
like. It's like being received. And she was like, "Oh, but there are things that you do I don't like." I'm like, "And
You
why
tell
aren't you
me.
telling me?" And then she, when you go into a whole defensive manner, you're not rational. You're just trying to throw stuff. And she threw
Oh
three
yeah.
things like at me that she didn't like, oh, you don't put you sometimes just leave trash right next to the trash bin, or like these things to where I was able to explain each and every one. Like, oh no, I do that because with this ADHD. I would leave it wherever it's at for a very long time. So it's better for me to have everything like centralized. I do the same thing with my
Mhm.
laundry where there's dirty clothes here, and then I put the clean clothes in the basket here. So because I'm not gonna get to it for maybe a day, 2, or a week with my brain. So it's best for me to keep things relatively organized in this chaos. That's why I do things. And then, like, after I explain everything, I'm like, I hope you understand that petty attempt was not going to work because that's, communication. That's how things work. And also, I'm King Petty. So, you know, don't play
You
that kind of
are.
game. But it's just one of those things because that's when I realized, like, she don't understand boundaries. And that's why I'm nudging this book to her. I'm nudging it to everybody because you have to understand boundaries to have healthy relationships. Because otherwise, you are gonna feel like anytime someone comes after you, it's an attack, and you want to fight back.
Yeah. And in those type of situations, you kind of have to ask yourself as a partner, where did she learn that? What was she taught about boundaries that she's reacting this way? Because she probably didn't even think about it. It was just second nature. She immediately thought, oh, I need to protect myself because he's judging me. Well, I'm not judging you. I just need you to understand something, and I need us to be on the same page about this because we are a team. But when you don't know that, you have no real, not quite concept, but just trust in that, it's not going to click.
Because when all things are all good, you are the perfect teammates. When things get stressful, you're a stranger that I don't know.
Exactly. And that's the hard part, trying to be reasonable or understanding when you're mad with your partner.
So, and that's where I will say my emotional maturity helps me out because it's like I'm not mad or I was upset. I did get upset via a text exchange that happened because I was just asking something and then it became like a because again I'm like after that thing happened about should I tell you I'm sad or whatever, I'd also just I'm gonna have a discussion here, like let's go ahead hash it out. I'm not a fan of kicking cans down the road because I will forget. But yeah, I was like, all right, how would you prefer that I ask you these kind of requests? And the solution we came to was like, oh, just text it to me. That way I can read it, take time to like process it, and then I can get back to you, and like within like as if I'm not being attacked. And like a couple weeks later, I followed that suggestion. It didn't work. And yeah, and at that point I admitted to her I was pissed because that means you just fed me some BS to like get me off your case. Like you're like, oh, just text it to me. Like you didn't think it through, and now you try to charge me up. And then once I like, you told me to text to you. It's like, oh no, I asked you to do like, no, no, no. You told me verbatim, text to you so you could process it. I texted to you and you still didn't process. Like I was just wasting my time is my number one pet peeve. In that moment, I was like, "You just wasted my time." We had a full-on 30-minute discussion on trying to like find a better way to express our request, and then afterwards, you can't do that kind of thing via text for long. So she get back from work, we have a talk, and the first
Right.
thing she said was like, you're sending me a complaint via text," and I'm like, where was the complaint? Because even my like, even if you took the harshest tone, it said like, "Hey, could you please do X, Y, and Z in the future?" That was all it said. But to her, when she said complaint, that means like she's reading anything I said in a negative tone, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that also upset me even more because it took it back to like, yo, we talked about things, and one of the main things was I'm on your side. Like you do not need to read anything in like negative tone, but it was like the default. Like if anything is asking her if anything, it's like it's bad. It's like negative. And it's like, whew. Here's this book real quick, because I
I'm not trying to fight you. I'm not trying to do this on person. Do you think I want to do this? Do you think I want to come home and have you upset with me? No, I don't want that. I'm trying to find solutions. And if we understand our own boundaries vis a vis this book, we could be better. I get it. I get your frustration.
Cause yeah, another one found it. See, I just have all of them. Well, cause yeah, like I got all these fillers in. I would say though, the reason why I'm expressing this is because I don't want to get to the extreme end where it's like I share nothing with you. I shut down. Like
Yeah.
I don't want your trauma to then become brand new trauma passed on to me.
Yeah.
And that is my boundary. That's why I'm trying to like make sure she understands where it's like, look, I gotta protect myself if you're gonna keep like hurling these attacks for no reason. Like, hey, we're in this together. So recognize that your actions does have consequences. Like, yes, it wasn't like I was pissed and throwing things and yelling and upset. I could be pissed and still be calm and talk through things. Like
Absolutely.
that's more productive. Like even when I was like, I told Shrey like I am pissed. Like I don't have to like rage like the Hulk, especially because 6'3", 330 plus, I can scare a motherfucker.
Right. You good.
And that's why I was like, she might need this book to understand where I'm coming from, more so because I'm beginning to advocate a little bit more for myself in certain aspects that I
Mhm.
didn't before. But it's not like I've changed completely as a person. It's just that some of the things that I let slide, I can't let slide anymore because they chip away at you.
Right. And I think some people, when you put up new boundaries, they think, well, this wasn't a problem before. No, no, no. It was. I just didn't say anything. No, no, no. It was. I just let this slide because I thought you would get the hint that this was a problem and you didn't get the hint. So now I have to tell you, hey, can we not do that? Can we find a different solution for this? If you take it a certain way, it's no longer on me. This is now on you. You took it this way. And since we're in a relationship, okay, let's figure out how we can get through this together. But again, you are culpable here.
And no one
That's
wants to
one of my
take
words.
culpable.
Yes.
And no one wants to take that responsibility because also, ooh, what you just said actually reminded me of something that I am a true believer in. That there's nothing wrong with selfishness.
Mm,
I feel like the only time selfishness is wrong is when it's detrimental to somebody. But the problem is people confuse inconvenient with detrimental.
oof. That's that right there. Because we get so used to things being there. We don't have to think about it. We could just reach out and touch it or reach out and it comes to us. But when that doesn't happen as easily, you feel offended. I didn't offend you. I just said no. I just said not right now. I just said maybe later. That's not me attacking you. That's me telling you, honestly, I can't do this. Or we need to find something else, a different way to do this because this doesn't feel good to me.
Yeah. And I keep thinking of examples because it's kind of like you tell someone about because you're always brought up be humble, be giving, be caring, and all these other things because you know we see selfishness as the opposite where it's like it's a bad thing to be selfish, but it's like no. I have to like worry about myself. Like I can't trust for now. Would I love to have someone take care of me? Yes, but I can't trust that to always be an option. And
Exactly.
so when I'm selfish, like when I say detriment, I mean, hey, don't eat up all the food in the house because then everyone else will be hungry. That's a bad kind of
Exactly.
selfishness.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, hey, there's this last piece of cake. I barely had any. I'm gonna go ahead and just take this cake. Like, yes, it's the last piece, but no, I'm not gonna ask anyone else wants it because I didn't get it as much as other people.
Exactly.
And yes,
But
will it be
some people
inconvenient
can
to
feel some people can feel ways about that. Like, well, why didn't you ask me? You didn't ask me when you ate three-fourths of the cake.
It's the thing. People would treat being inconvenienced as a personal attack. Like, no, you're just inconvenient. Like, you'll be fine. You're living. You won't die.
It's the you'll be fine for me. You'll be fine. Just calm down. I know your nervous system is telling you that something is wrong. It's not that. I'm not doing anything wrong to you. I just said I'm going to eat this cake.
But did you die though?
But did you die? But did you? No, obviously no, because you're still talking to me. You're still yelling at me. Obviously, you're okay enough to still be here and complain about something about this. Sometimes it's not that big a deal.
It really isn't. But let's see. Let's go ahead and take a quick little break. We've been going for a little bit, and
Alrighty.
yeah, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Where you over here
Recording in
telling me
progress.
I don't understand that.
See, my overall theme is I don't know Nia Long. I don't know him. I'm like, I'm leaving it alone because again, there was no information out outside of a tweet. I'm not a
Oh yeah.
fan of like diving into stuff because you got the internet sleuths out here showing this random black woman and getting
Mm-hmm.
her in trouble because y'all want to be messy and it's like, oh no, it's this white lady. Oh no, it's this person. Like, we don't know who it is. Like you putting these pictures out there, like possibly ruining people's lives. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, chill. Like, you don't know these people.
You're you don't know these people. You don't know their relationship. You don't know how people are going to react once that information goes out because not everyone's just going to sit on that or be mature and say, you know what? It's above me. It's not above everybody. So,
And like on one hand, sure, shams have to get it out because that's money. Like you are getting paid, you're getting your money from dropping these exclusive news. So yes, but on the other hand, this is an HR issue. Why am I hearing about it?
why are we hearing about it? Why is this? This is none of our business.
Like this is HR. Now it would make sense if like say into the beginning of the season, like Umail Duck is not here, then you should have your press release already established as to like kind of explain the whole situation, not a
Mm-hmm.
tweet that says consensual, but you know, infidelis relations. Like, yeah, that's why I drink water and mind my business. Shout out to the African lady that sung that song.
That's right. Drink water and always mind your business. Do I follow that? Not always.
Me either.
I
I'm not
can admit
perfect. I'm not perfect. You know, sometimes I'll be breaking down and I realize, oh shit, I'm not minding my business enough. My bad. Let me get back to my lane. Welcome back, travelers, to part two of this episode with the lovely Love Goddess. And yeah, we're just talking about boundaries. We talk about our own personal struggles with it, and I kind of also want to talk about our own personal victories with it.
Ooh, personal victories. So I will be transparent with you guys, with you in particular, and say that one of my personal victories when it comes to boundaries is having my mom respect my boundaries. That was huge because growing up, if I set a boundary, I got in trouble.
Mm.
It was, well, why are you hiding this? I just need to have my privacy. You don't get to have privacy in this house because you don't pay for this and all that toxic black parenting bullshit that happens.
Don't close your doors in my house.
Yeah, don't close your doors. Don't lock those doors. You need to show me your phone. I'm reading your diary type shit, which was not great for me. But to be able to go home recently and tell my mom, no, I'm not doing this. And to have her say, okay, I respect that. No problem. I never thought that would happen in my life. I never thought that woman would ever truly understand what I was saying, respect it, and adhere to it. It's like I felt a burden lift off my shoulders. So that's my personal victory. My mom in particular has been doing amazing. Our relationship has gotten so much better because of boundaries. Because I've been able to say, no, I'm not picking up the phone whenever you want me to. No, I'm not going home whenever you want me to. I will do this, but I will not do that. And it doesn't mean that I don't love you, that I don't respect you, that I don't want to help. It just means I can't or won't do that. And that has to be okay. So to hear her say, yeah, that's okay, I understand. Huge. Absolutely huge for me. Felt like a breakthrough.
Happy to hear it.
Thank you.
I would say my personal victory would come in the form of advocating for my own pleasure.
Mm.
So, overall, like, if you see my kink stuff, you see that the tile hedonist or hedonistic is like pretty much embellished in all things I do on the other side of the aisle when it comes to the opposite of vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
And so the primary definition of a hedonist is someone that derives pleasure from providing pleasure. And that has pretty much kind of fallen into the mold with my whole people pleaser thing, like that I grew up with. Shout out to the middle child and Capricorns of the world.
Hey.
Um, and so with that, I never really kind of like advocated for my own pleasure because again, I do get pleasure from providing pleasure, but I never really explored my own like self pleasure outside of rubbing one out with by myself or whatever, which
Yeah.
is always a good time. But I then began to realize like, maybe I should involve like my partner in this, where it's not simply like, oh, I'm here to sling it and be good because when I'm slinging it, I never disappoint. But then on the other side of things, because like I've never came from oral or hand job or anything to that effect. Hell, sometimes I'm having sex, I'm like, I'm good, and I just stop like without even coming, and like I'm like looking into that where it's like maybe I should try to advocate for like my own thing a little bit more where it's like, yo, let me get wine and nine in bed myself because I've never explored that because in my head the boundary was, oh, you're just a person that provides it. Like you do X, Y, and Z. And because I've been doing that the whole time or whatever, I never thought, hey, advocate for yourself, try to see if someone can discover something that you don't know about you, which I'm in the
Mm.
process of now. Now, is that kind of a 360 out the blue on my partner? Yes, so I'm trying to be more like, reasonable with it. Like, I'm not trying to say, boom, foot down, this is what it's about now. Like, no, it's like,
Right.
hey, I want to explore this kind of thing, and it is a bit of a hiccup because my anchor partner is not the type that's like I'm gonna go ahead and do these exploratory stuff. It's more like a hey, do XYZ. It's like all right, sure, she'll go and do it. Versus like, but also I'm realizing the other side of the aisle is I want to be wanted in that way where it's like oh I want to do these things to you, and so that's like my victory right now. It's still a work in progress, but it's like the fact I'm advocating for myself in this matter, I didn't think my brain to do such a thing. Like I thought it was just like the piece of meat that just hops in there and does what it do and then dips out.
Ooh, that is huge. Congratulations on that. And I know it's a process, but you know, I'm just proud. I'm just really proud to hear that.
All about exploring and learning more.
You definitely have to. And when I like the fact that you brought up how this is uh a little difficult or just different for your anchor partner because it is. They weren't expecting that shit. But I don't know, being able to explore it with them just opens up a whole new level of connection and intimacy with them. So
And I
I wish.
think but no, I think that's the main reason why I wanted to at least share this with my anchor partner because I could go ahead and find another dynamic to fulfill that. But I feel like letting her be at least the first to at least take a crack at it. If it's one of those things where it's like, nope, not for me, then all right, reasonable. Maybe I'll find someone down the line that can do this. But I feel like that would be a dick move if I didn't like bring it up to her. And if it's one of those things where it's like not in her realm or wheelhouse, then it's like I'm gonna respect that boundary of hers and accept that like, all right, if it's not for you, it's not for you. I'm not gonna be over here trying to force you to do something that you don't want to do. But she has admitted that is a bit intriguing. It's just a little difficult to wrap a brain around something where it's like, things were a certain way for X amount of time. Now there's a
Yeah.
change up. It's like, yo, the change. That's the hard part. I'm like, which I get.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what we don't talk about in relationships, how when something changes for one person, it kind of has to change for the other person too, in order for it to be balanced. And that's not easy because we as humans, we like routines, we like patterns. And when you're so used to a pattern and it abruptly changes, or at least it feels abrupt to you, you don't know what to do with that. Or usually we don't handle it well all the time. But I think with time, it can get better.
Well, yeah. Especially if you put in the work.
Oh, yeah. You
Well, yeah.
definitely got to
Well,
work.
yeah, we found another one. Well, yeah, I need to write this stuff down. Where is a pen? Well, yeah, yeah. It's like we just have a lot of fillers. Like at least other people just have. I'm over here creating a whole set of them.
Oh, yeah. Well, see? See? It happens. There are so many fillers out there. You don't know until you record yourself.
Oh man, no, oh man, I'll let that stand. That one I will let stand. But yeah, I would say because I feel like when it comes to boundaries, we don't even realize the victories that we have because in the beginning, the first battle is about that guilt that you're feeling that you have to battle with. But
Man, fuck you.
when old girl, when the woman that wrote that book said guilt, it feels bad because you think you're being mean. I'm like,
How could you accurately put this in words? How could you? Did you read my mind? How?
I'm like, yo, cause I'm,
Because that's what it feels like you're doing something bad or wrong to someone else just by taking care of yourself.
cause I always feel like, man, I'm being a dick right now. Like that's my genuine feeling when I set when I set a boundary of, no, I'm not gonna make it. No, I can't do it. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I can do it. I just don't want to, but I can do it. Like I could do it.
But
Like,
but but the I don't want to is enough. And the guilt kind of dissipates once you understand that I don't want to is just as valid as I can't. But it fucks you up for a while. I'm not gonna lie.
cause yeah, you don't like letting you, cause you only feel
Because you
guilty for
don't
the
want to let
people you
someone
care
down.
about.
Yeah, you want to do everything for the people that you care about. So to say that I don't want to do this for you, even though I do care about you and appreciate you, and all those other positive affirmations and adjectives, it makes you feel like you are deliberately hurting them, and you're not, or you're not deliberately hurting them. You're just looking out for yourself. And that's hard when you're conditioned to be a people pleaser because you believe that the best thing you can do is help other people first and always. You'll
Mm-hmm.
get to yourself eventually. But that's not sustainable because you have to go to sleep with yourself at night. Every night, you have to wake up and look at yourself in the mirror and realize that you aren't taking care of yourself. You aren't putting yourself first, which you should. And there's nothing wrong with it. But understanding that there's nothing wrong with it, that's a hard point right there.
Yeah, the brain's a weird thing.
weird, rude, confusing.
All right. I know we will wrap this episode up soon. So I also do want to hit on the other side of the boundary discussion
Okay.
where we have what we think are boundaries when
When in reality, they're rules.
yes, where it's like it's not even that they're rules, it's that they they are what we assume are boundaries, but in reality it's just us distancing ourselves away from people.
Mm.
So, example being people that ghost others. Some
What?
people like to try to claim that that's a boundary. No, it's
No,
not.
it's no. Somebody who's ghost people, I can admit that. I ghost people. It's not a boundary. I'm being a dick. I'm being a dick by not responding. It's not because I feel like I need to do this. It's just a shitty thing to do. That's not a boundary.
But and like so on your end, you say because you're a dick. For others, like there are some people out there that ghost because they don't like confrontation. They don't like disappointing people, or at least knowing they're disappointing people. So the best thing to do is act like they don't exist anymore
And then
until it's convenient
realize
for
that
them.
that's worse.
Like until it's convenient for them, be like, "Hey, big head," like no, it's one of those false
Hey, big head
boundaries.
is a red flag.
They're not talking about that big head. They're talking about that big head.
Still a red flag.
But because like there are things that people like to pretend are boundaries, but they really are not. Like, oh, I need to disappear for a while, and yeah, that's it. Bye. It's like that's not a boundary if you can't communicate what's going on. Because a boundary, like, you can't just simply say, like, it's like the states. There is literally no upward fence that is like blocking a state off to say this is a state.
Absolutely not.
Like,
But you
because
cross those state lines, no problem.
Anthony, like that doesn't make it like a it's an invisible boundary. Like no one can see what it is that you're trying to establish.
Yeah. And you can't get mad when you set an invisible boundary and no one adheres to it. It's invisible. How's anyone supposed to know it's there? How are we supposed to know what to do if I can't see it, I can't hear it, I can't touch it?
And that's the thing that is something that we won't be able to do because there's there has to be a level of self confidence in order to get your boundaries established, as well as you to keep your boundaries enforced. If you don't have that self respect, if you don't have that self confidence, then you see the only option as to either run away or get walked all over.
Yeah.
And it's like you gotta put in the work in yourself because there's a lot of dope people in the world that you will miss out on because you don't advocate for yourself in that way. Because there's some people that are horrible to you because you don't have that boundaries. They don't even realize they're being horrible to you because it's like, oh, okay, this person wants this. Oh, cool. Like there's like I'm trying to think of this example was just like like it was right there was like, hey, here's a perfect example. Oop, you gotta be quicker than that.
I hate when that happens. I hate when that happens.
It was going down the lines of like men or women that give it up in bed thinking that's the only way they'll keep this person around, not realizing that just simply talking with whoever it was they could actually learn like, oh no, they're into a lot more than just the sex.
Oh yeah. But if you never open yourself up, if you're not open to it, you're never gonna know. And in order to be open, you kind of have to be okay, not kind of. You need to be vulnerable. You need to trust that it's okay for you to open up and ask questions and receive whatever comes your way. But again, that's hard. That's hard for all of us to do continuously.
The work that it takes, it's hell of annoying.
I am so annoyed every week in therapy because it's so much fucking work that I'm doing. I will start the session like, yeah, I'm fine. But this thing did happen. At the end of it, I'm crying. I'm getting all of it out. I thought I was fine. No, so let's talk about how you're feeling. I don't want to. But if you stop at the I don't want to and say that's a boundary, it's not a boundary. You're just afraid of going the extra step in order to actually figure out what the boundary is.
Yep. All right. I know I'm taking almost an hour of your time. One last thing before we get out of here.
Alrighty.
So, my Google Chrome on my iPhone keeps annoying me with random articles of whatnot. It's a very, very stupid application. Like I enjoy Google Chrome. It runs so smoothly compared to others. The only other one I really like is Mozilla, but they are really trying to be like Facebook Lite, where it's like, hey, here's these random articles, and they keep giving me like dumb ones from like random like sites that I don't know of, like Tom Landry's hat or like just.
I don't get that. Like, why are you pushing this toward me? What in my browser history said I want to know this?
And but every now and again they do hit. Now CNBC is a thorn in my side. Their news stuff because they keep hitting me with
Why?
the because you get nothing but this woman retired at 31. See how she did it. Oh, this person makes six figures from his
She was
five side
privileged.
gigs, and it's like I don't
He
need
got
that.
along with his dad.
Someone got lucky because oh yeah, I just made like these printable calendars on Etsy and people buy them up. So it's like that's why CNBC is a thorn in my side. But they did have an article that came out. Was it yesterday? That came on the queue where I was like, oh, is Google finally trying to learn who I am? Because the title of the article is Three Rules for a Successful Open Relationship. Right?
Okay. I wasn't expecting that.
Right, from CNBC. And I mean, these are pretty basic. It's stuff that I already know. But overall, there are three rules that was shared by. I'm assuming the lady that wrote this is of Indian descent because Aditi Shrinkant. Yeah,
We apologize if we did not say your name correctly.
I do apologize. I feel like Aditi I got right. It's the Shrikant that I'm slipping on, But hey, I'll be okay. But the three rules that this person has expressed was one, define what kind of relationships are okay. More communication is always better. And know what your goals are and communicate if they change. And I'm like, okay. For a CNBC article, pretty light, not too heavy. It was like, all right, those are some reasonable things. And so what I wanted to tee in on was the define what kind of relationships are okay, because that essentially is what's your boundaries. It's
Oh
like
yeah,
it's like the a long form of saying what are the boundaries that you want established.
exactly. Because at the core of it, yes, boundaries are there to protect you, but for the most part, it's just figuring out what do you like and what do you don't like. What are you willing to deal with and what are you not willing to deal with? What behavior is okay and what isn't okay for you.
The
But you got to be completely honest and open about that.
like you must be completely honest. And when we say completely honest, we mean do not hold back because you're afraid that the person that you're with is gonna judge you. Like if you over here saying that I want to host a monthly gangbang, you better say that shit, otherwise the other person won't know.
You definitely need to say that shit. That's you can't spring that on people.
But and this also sprung into so I am the mayor of the Harder Soft Discord. Yeah.
Ooh.
So cuz pretty much anyone that's on their Patreons add to the Discord, and I end up being an admin on there because I was like I see potential here and asked the overall maker of it all was like, "Hey, I can go ahead and run this for you. I see that you're busy because he does do a lot of shit. He's up in New York. They be hustling. And I'm like, hey, I could use some free time to like jazz this up a bit. So far, so good. And within it, we were doing, what was it? It's slipping my mind. It's like during the explanation, it was like there was a point to all this.
And then it just
Oh,
got further.
got it. Okay, and so on the Hard or Soft, they had an episode recently. It's released audio. They haven't released the video yet, where they had these two DOMs on, and they made a talk, and they point out something that, like, again, I'm picking out different things from everybody, like in regards to my negotiation. Like example, King Hef, aka Daddy Hef,
Mm-hmm.
he what he does during certain scenes are like words of affirmation during the scene, as opposed to like words of degradation, where it's like,
Yeah.
you got to go ahead and like incorporate. I can incorporate both. Like some people want to be degraded, some people want to be affirmed, so I go ahead and add
Mm-hmm.
that to my negotiation table. From these ladies that were on the Hard or Soft recent episode, um,
Mm-hmm.
they brought up how one flaw in negotiation is people negotiate from a place of no. Be like examples being, no, I don't want to get slapped, no, I don't want needles, no, I don't want scat, everything else is okay. It's like, okay, everything's else okay, let me go get a baseball bat and smack it up your head. Like there's flaws with negotiating from a no, but if you
Definitely.
negotiate from a place of yes, okay, I want to feel XYZ and I want ABC done to me. That means those are the things that get done to you. Like it's what you want versus worried about what you don't want. And I feel like the
Exactly.
same works with defining what kind of relationships are okay. Like you don't want to say, no, I don't. We'll leave one penis policies out of this. Like we'll leave that alone. Like, all right, let's say for example, no, I don't want to know who my metamors are. No, I don't want XYZ. Like if you build up on your nose, it's like then what are the yeses? Like I don't know how to do this dance with you because all you gave me were the no. So if I do something that was not a no and it upsets you, how do you have a right to be upset if you didn't tell me that was one of your no's?
Exactly. I personally hate that. I like to start with what I like first or what type of experience I'm going for first because honestly, it makes things easier when you come in with a more positive attitude, when you're coming in just wanting to add things rather than saying, oh, well, this is what I don't like. I like to imagine it as you're in a room filled with a whole bunch of shit, and all you do is say what you want to be taken out. But do so once you take everything out, you're still left in a room full of stuff. But do you actually want these things here? Is that actually what you want your room to look like? Or did you just take out all the unnecessary stuff? Did you just focus on the negative?
See, overall, I'm glad I picked these things from these different DOMs and different people because it does help me with my own like whole self. And I'm just glad that that whole operate from a place of yes. Like you never really think about it. Like, did I watch Yes Man the movie? Yes, I love that movie. One of my top five favorite Jim Carrey movies. But it's putting that in my real life, I didn't even really think about that, especially when it comes to boundaries. So, and I do. Let me give credit to the article. Let me at least I'm gonna put it in the show notes, but let me say what was like written here as opposed to keeping the cliff notes. Whereas,
Okay.
like, number one, define what kind of relationships are okay. Decide if any type of relationship or people are off limits. Major says. Communicate if you or a partner has a primary relationship that will take priority, and think about what type of information you share with other partners. Maybe being open means physical intimacy but not emotional. Whatever it is, you need to communicate your boundaries. Take time to think about personal boundaries as well as relational ones, she says. Know that it's okay to adjust these if needed, but respecting others' boundaries and expecting them to do the same for you is a must. And I'm like, that's a pretty, non-monogamy 101 ish.
Yeah. Does that get followed all the time though?
Oh God, no.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. This has been a lovely hour with you.
Oh, well, thank you for having me on again. It has been so much fun.
No, I'm glad. That's two for two. If the third one's
Yeah.
not fun, then I guess you get a free ice cream. I don't know how that works.
I mean, I'm just going to send you a Cash App request for Cold Stone so you can pay me back.
All right, that is fair. But okay, everyone, this was Love Goddess. Do you want to go ahead and share links or socials or anything with the peoples?
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram at the Love Goddess, goddess with an X. You can put that in the show notes.
Definitely
You can
will.
also follow me on TikTok because I'm going to start doing TikToks. And I know that's going to be a headache, but you can follow me there at Bratty Goddess, goddess with an X again because I like X's. And you can follow my blog at lovegxddess.com. Goddess with an X. All of that will be in the show notes.
X's and O's, they haunt me. Look, you kept saying X's. That song popped in my head. I had to say it out there, otherwise it will be stuck all day. But yes, I'll make sure I have all that in the show notes. And I am Ike, also known as Hito. You can follow me at Hitchhiker's Guide to E&M on Instagram, Hitchhiking to E&M on Twitter, and I will be coming out with a new podcast hopefully next week, the Big Letter Podcast, where we talk about BDSM, kinks, and other fun stuff, where I am more so known as the hedonistic Dom. But yeah, be sure to follow, subscribe, share with your peoples, and be sure you can email me at hitchhikersguide to enm@gmail.com if you have any questions, comments, concerns. And I guess until then, be sure to look both ways before you cross these streets, travelers. Be safe, and until next time, peace.